So this is assignment 1 using ProGCAD to do orthographic projection. So to start off with, when you read the assignment, it's going to tell you to double the limits. So like everything else that I've taught you, type in limits. Lower level, upper level is going to be, oops, sorry, I apologize. I need to open up a template. So file, open, grab my template, Curtis. And I go to Imperial Border Template, and I get that started up. Now I type in limits, 0, 0, and 22, 17. My limits go up. If I Z for zoom, A for all, you can see there how big it is. Now one of the things some of you guys might like to do, and it's up to you if you do this or not, but if I go Tools, Drawing Settings, Coordinate Input, and I go down here, Display Grid Beyond Limits, and I take that check mark off. When I do this, you can now see the limits. They don't expand any farther. Now what happens by doing this is you can't draw outside of them. Okay? So once I've done that, I can type scale, and I'm going to scale up my border. So I'll highlight the whole thing. Right mouse click, base point. I'm going to grab the corner. There it is there. My scale factor is 2 because I lifted up my limits by 2. Okay, or changed my limits by 2. Zoom all, there it is. Now, to confirm it's done right, you just go File, Plot Preview. It fits my page. When I print this out, it's going to fit on a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper properly. That's why the scale factor, that's why making the border a certain size is so critical. Easily fits on the border, or on the page. Okay, so now I'll start. So what I'm going to do is basically, I'm going to start at 2, 3. So I'm going to create a line. And I'm going to do a 2, 3. It starts there. And I just have the piece of paper printed out, so I won't flip it back and forth between the diagram or not. So I know that the line is at 6.5 at an angle of 0. I got the first one. It's the wrong layer. I'll change that in a second. I know the height of it is 1, so at 1 at an angle of 90. At 6.5 again at an angle of 180. And then I close it off. Right? If I want to change the layer right now, I just highlight the whole thing, go up here to Layers, and I turn it to Object. Now I've got it back on Object, and I'll change this to Object now too. Right? So there's that one. Next, when I actually look at the drawing, okay, this goes up, it goes over and around. So it's up by 3.2, and the center of the circle is 2.1, and the top thing is 4.2. So I go back, I'll switch over, so I can type in line, and I'll go to the intersection here, and I'm going to go up at 3.2, because now it's not an easy number to use with just snapping. Hit enter. Oops, sorry. At 3.2 at an angle of 90. I go, whoops, sorry. So, at 3.2 at an angle of 90, goes there. Then I go at 4.2 at an angle of, that's 0, and I get it to there. Now the problem is I'm going to stop there. And when I go back to this, that goes here to 4.2 right here. But if you look down here, there's a gap of 1. So how do I draw that? Right? I got multiple ways to do that. What I'm going to suggest is I'm just going to type in offset. There's more than one way to do this. Distance is 1. And I'm going to take this one, I'm going to offset it once. Okay. Now I'm going to type in line, and I'm going to go back to the endpoint, and let me go my E-snaps, and I go endpoint, and I get OK. Now I can grab the endpoint of that one, and then I'll go to the intersection of that one. Okay. Now I'm just going to delete this line. That one's gone. Right. So there's that part drawn. Now I'm going to type in circle, and when you looked at the drawing, the center of the circle is 2.1, which is halfway on this one. My E-snaps don't let me go halfway, so I'm going to go to E-snaps, settings, I'm going to grab midpoint. And now it grabs the midpoint, and I know the radius is 1.3, so R for radius is already there, 1.3, there's that. What command's next? Trim, right? Trim it out, grab the bottom of the circle, right mouse click, grab that, right, type in trim again, and I'll take that one and that one, right mouse click, there's that. There's my object. Now here's where it changes. I want you to use construction lines because it's so much easier when you get to the next couple drawings I'm going to have you do. So I'm going to switch to the construction line layer. Pardon me? No, because you're going to actually spread them all out afterwards, Curtis, right? I'm not going to get, you'll add dimensions and everything as well, right? But right now, at this point in time, let's not worry about the gap. So I'm going to go to construction lines. Now, there's two types of construction lines. One is this one here. When I click on it, what it actually does is it makes a complete line. And if I turn ortho on, it's just going to either go straight up or straight down, okay? Or straight up or straight across. Now, what it does, though, is it hides the object that you're working with. So I don't like using these ones. Okay, you can, but it just hides the object. So I'm just going to delete it. And instead I'm going to use a regular line. And all I'm going to do is transfer these lines just up. Okay, so space bar to bring it back. Put that up. Whoops, undo. I got my snaps on. So I'm going to take off settings. Let's take, I need endpoint. And don't need that one. Okay, let's just put nearest on. Okay, so I'm going to go back to line. That'll be there, and if I just grab nearest, it'll just keep letting me do straight lines. Space bar, up. Now, you might think this is a bit of work, okay, but it's not when you see it on a more complicated drawing. Oops, that one should have went straight. Hang on, those ones aren't straight. Line. Maybe I'll just go to here. I'll stop right there. Redo last. Line. Okay, so space bar, line. Now, am I doing any measurements? No. Do I care? No. Right, so there's that one. So now all I do is I go back to my object lines, and I'll put a line across. So from here, and I got it on ortho still, so I'll go there. Oops, undo, sorry. I got to take ortho off, or nearest. So go across, there's my line. Now, if I go back to this drawing, I know up here, let me just close the inking tool. I know here to here is a set distance of 2.1. And then I know the whole distance is 4.9. So I just use offset. Right? So I click back to here, and this line now, if I just type in offset, and I know it's 4.9, and I know this is going to go outside the page right now. Okay? Okay? I know it's outside the page, but now I'm going to type in offset again. And I'm going to take this guy, and instead it's 2.1, and I go this way, and I bring it back. There's my object started, right? Now I can just continue with lines now, and there's endpoint, there's whoops, shoot. I know that nearest is going to drive me nuts, so settings, take nearest off, do the line, that one goes there, to there, hit escape, spacebar to bring it back, there to there, shoot, spacebar, there to there, right mouse click comes back. Now this line here is just a short line, so I'm going to go from here, and it's just going to go to, now I'm just going to go past it, I'll have to trim it out after, and this one goes to here, I'll go past it, that one, and you can see now how that object, whoops, did the wrong one. Line, intersects. Oh, get rid of E-snaps for a second. Get rid of that one. So, line. And there we go. So, is that the object now from the top? Pretty much, right? Just trim it out. And I can just take that one, that one, that one, and that one. Right mouse, sorry, did it wrong. Trim. Am I right, or is there something that I've missed? I gotta make another trim? Okay. Everybody see that trim that I gotta make? Sorry, I'm just gotta zoom in here. Zoom, window. All right, zoom, window to grab that last one. Trim. Grab that one, right mouse click, grab that one. Okay, one more trim, because I got to get rid of this one right here. So I grab that, right mouse click, trim that out. Okay, so now I've got that. Make sense? Pretty much. Now, I don't need to do any measurements from this point on. The last one that I draw, there's no measurements required. So all I do is I go back to my construction lines, and I create a couple across. I got to make sure ortho's turned on, and I go from here. I'll just go across. Okay, bring it back from right here. Bring it across. Shoot, I keep hitting the space bar. Right, bring it across here. That one there. To get it, I need to go to settings, go to quadrant for an E-snap. It'll grab that one. It comes across, and then finally the bottom one goes across. So there's that. My 45-degree angle starts right here, and I just go A for angle, 45, and this just goes right up and out of the screen. Okay. Now, again, line goes here, crosses. Line goes here, crosses. Line goes here, crosses. Oops, sorry. Line goes there, crosses. I just take this now. There's a cross section that comes down. Space bar comes down. Space bar comes, whoops, repeat last command. That comes down. Now, is there anything else that I got to do? Those are my things. What do I have to do now? Change layers. Back to object lines. Grab the line now and just fill it in. What does it look like? Well, it just looks like that, that. Right mouse click. Here. This one just looks like that. And then the last one's a hidden line. So I go to my hidden lines, and if I've set it up right, when I hit line, it puts my hidden line in place. Okay? Now you can't see that very well until I take my construction lines, little light bulb, bang, I'm done. Now, I can just move this stuff, right? Type in move. I can take this one now. Geez, okay, right mouse click, base point, let's pick right there, move it down. Right? Because I've got ortho on, I can't move it anywhere but up and down. Right? Now I just dimension it. Does that pretty much make sense? How I've done it? Do you understand why I do the construction lines? Do you notice that on this last one, I did not have to measure a single thing? Now, you sit there and say, well, yeah, but I probably could have drawn that one really easily just by typing the coordinates. Yeah, you can, right? But when I show you the third assignment, you're going to be going, holy smokes, how am I going to do that? So I'll leave it at that.